It is 6:18 right now, and today marks 64 years since the deadliest tornado to hit Texas happened in downtown Waco, decimating the town and the people.
Now, commemorate the anniversary, a special walking tour is happening this evening with local historian Eric Ames. Texas Today reporter Jamie Kennedy is live with a look at tonight's tour.
Good morning, Chris and Lisa. That's right. We are live in the downtown Waco area, which would have looked a lot different to this 64 years ago come this afternoon, to take a look at a very special tour on the tornado to commemorate it with local historian Eric Ames. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Jamie. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit, what would we have been looking at when the tornado came through 64 years ago?
Downtown would have looked a little bit different than it does today, as you mentioned. There would have been more wooden buildings, more structures that had been built in the 1800s and had survived up to that point. But some landmarks would remain. You would have seen something like the Alico building, which is still standing after that storm because of its internal steel structure that kept it safe throughout that storm.
Right.
The Roosevelt Hotel, which is now the Roosevelt building just across the street from it, also survived the storm. But a number of smaller buildings, 2- and 3-story buildings built from wood, would have been leveled in the tornado. Lots of brick buildings also came down. So anywhere in town that you see an open space now that's a parking lot, it was either tied to the tornado, or it could have been years later in the urban renewal era to try to bring this area back after the tornado had damaged it 10 years before.
Right, because how much of the downtown area was wiped out? How much was left?
There's a significant amount left. The damage was concentrated in a few key areas. The area called the Square, which is down near the City Hall now, down by the Brazos River, suffered a great deal of the damage between the river and the courthouse, or the City Hall, for example.
Right.
Other areas, the storm sort of popped around and took out specific blocks, but like tornadoes tend to do, it'll damage one building and leave a building across the street completely unharmed. So it was very random, very unpredictable as to where the damage went.
Okay, and also then in terms of the history of tornadoes in the US and Texas, how significant was this one?
Incredibly. This was the tornado that was tied for the most deadly in Texas, along with a tornado in Goliad in 1902 with 114 casualties. And then in terms of the United States tornadoes, it's the 11th deadliest on record. So it's a very significant F5 tornado.
Right, and then for the tour tonight, where are people going to start? What time should they come?
6 o'clock tonight. It's a free tour. Waco Walks is organizing it. We're going to take about 2 hours and walk 3 miles around downtown. You meet us at 4th and Austin at the Waco Tornado Memorial right by Coach's Smokehouse.
And then if it rains, do we have a plan?
We have a plan. If it rains and it's just a little bit of a rain, we're going to continue the walk. None of us are going to melt. If we get anything close to any kind of severe weather, we'll reschedule.
Okay, and then what about across the road here? We can see definitely something happened to the old Dr. Pepper Museum.
Yes, so the building that's now the Dr. Pepper Museum was the Artesian Manufacturing and Bottling Company at that time. And as you can see from the brickwork, there was damage to that building done in the tornado. The upper floors were pretty severely damaged. It was rebuilt, renovated shortly after it was damaged, and you can see today the difference in brick colors between the original bricks that date to the early 1900s and then the replacement bricks that came after the storm.
Wow, so definitely a significant part of Waco's history, and obviously something that's very special to you, and it should be a great tour tonight, guys. So get down here, 6 o'clock, it's free. Doesn't cost you anything, and you'll learn a hell of a lot too. Back to you, Chris and Lisa.
All right, thank you so much, Jamie. Yeah, and Eric's very knowledgeable. Jamie's learning a lot this morning, just
Absolutely.
from the tidbit information that Eric's giving us there. That's so cool. The final shot of the Alico building, which survived that tornado, incredible.
114 casualties. I mean, that is a lot of people.
Right, and you got to remember, in 1902, when the Goliad tornado occurred, there were no warnings. I mean, the weather technology was so minimal back then.
Yeah, now luckily we have people like Megan and other forecasters that can kind of give us some forewarning and save lives.
Gosh, but to hear the 1953 tornado destroyed buildings that were built in the 1800s because they were outdated.
So much history.
Yeah, that's really cool. They were half a century old themselves or older. Really cool. All right, Megan says nothing like that today.